Hey guys, it's been basically a year, but we're back. We're back because we finally got an announcement that can really bring some life back into this game. That's right, we have an online client. I know everyone's talking about Tenkaichi 4, or whatever it's going to be called. That's the big news headline, but I'm excited for this because, quite frankly, you can't play it in my area anymore. No one's playing the game, so having a way to interact with people online is fantastic. Anyway, let's have a look at what they've revealed so far. Of course, we're still in the beta period of all this, so we don't really have a huge amount of information, but let's go through what they have shown. First of all, let's have a look at the battle area. You have a little 3D model to represent your leader, rather than actually having your leader card in play. I'm guessing you can hover the mouse over them in order to get more information about it, as well as how to present the battle cards into play. At this next screenshot here, you'll see that they have the cards in play. Each character has a number of life remaining. In the bottom left-hand corner of the screen, that's your energy. I guess when you charge your energy, it doesn't just stay in play. You just use it as a resource off to the side. For some reason, our Chad dude here has 41 energy. You're not going to get to that point in the game, I hope. But that's just, I guess, they're just demoing it right now. On the right-hand side, we have different information in regards to what is in the deck. You got how many cards are in your hand, the number of cards in your drop area, number of cards in your warp, and the number of cards remaining in your deck. This is always going to be good to have this information just available at all times, unlike in the real-world scenario where you're basically just asking your opponent over and over, how many cards in your hand, how many cards in your deck, what's in your drop there? At least this information is available all the time, and that's great to see. Now let's look at this next thing, which is a little odd, but I get why they're doing it, kind of. Cards, when you attack in this game, if you're not familiar with this game, when you declare the card as attacking, you put it in rest mode, as you switch it to so it's sitting sideways. But for some reason, we're not doing that in this game. In this game, we just make the card black and white and put the word rest on it to let you know that the card has attacked or it's been put in that rest mode state. I get why they did that. It doesn't take up as much room. It's a bit easier to tell. It's easier to read the numbers. I get why they did it. It just seems a little odd to me, and of course this might not be how it stays, but that's where we're at currently. It's also very clear in regards to like what you see. As you can see here, there's a card attacking. The word triple underneath the Vegeta means that it's now getting a triple strike, meaning it does 3 damage rather than 1. It's very clear, very precise. It also lets you know in your hand what cards are legally allowed to be activated at this time or be added. So you can see on the bottom, certain cards have a glow around them, which means you can combo with them. You're allowed to combo on the offensive step, you're allowed to combo. So that's why it's saying these cards are legally allowed to be used right now, based off what you have in your hand and how much energy you have up. It's looking pretty good. I'm not sure about, though, given the beginning, is how many cards are actually going to be available from the offset. Obviously, not many are available for this beta period, when they're going to have people coming in and just trying out the servers and seeing how it works. But from this screenshot here, we have a few cards. The latest release out of these cards is Son Goku Dawn of Divinity, which is set 8. That's still about 10 to 12 sets away from where we are currently in the actual card game, but but they could always release more stuff, and I would think during this period they're just going to put in the cards from the first set, maybe the second set. It's just to kind of get used to it, because there's no black cards that I can see currently. I don't know whether the Overrealm mechanic is going to be available at launch. I know for certain they're not going to have some of the newer mechanics, like, for example, Dark Overrealm, or the Zenkai cards, especially we're not going to go for any of the Z deck or anything like that. This is all very new compared to this, and I doubt it's going to be released for a while, but I really do hope they eventually add it, because until they can bring it up to date with the more recent stuff, competitive people will have no reason to play this game. How can they playtest a deck they're going to take to a regional or to a national if they can't use the cards in the game? Now we're on to this. This is basically the clearest look we have currently at how the decks are constructed, and while it doesn't give us a lot of information, it does give us some things to look at. First of all, the cards, for example, in the first area here, you can enter your text and look at all your cards that are currently available. Nothing here is beyond set 8, so we've got nothing else to look at there. To the left-hand side, we have the card itself, very precise in terms of like the power of the card, the combo cost, character traits, character itself, what its effect is. It's all listed there. You can also easily add the card to your deck using a little button there. To the right hand side is a deck breakdown. It's a little cluttered. I kind of hope it would be more like even have the one card and then just have the number in the bottom corner to say how many is there. It does say in the bottom corner ×4, so why show all 4 copies? Seems kind of redundant, but it also has the information at the top corner in regards to the cost of the cards in your deck, the color of the cards that are in your deck. That's all fantastic. I think it looks pretty good for the time being. It needs to be cleaned up, obviously, but for now it's fine. The only things we don't know from this screen, which is stuff that would really make or break the game, is how do you get these cards? Do you have to buy them individually? Can you buy packs and then break down the cards in the packs to craft the ones you actually want? The only indication on this screen about anything to do with that is under the combined Vegeta, there's a little button that says store. It's grayed out, but I don't know if that means you have to go to the store to buy this card. Obviously, each of the cards in the cards in possession area has ×20. Hugely unnecessary to have 20 copies of a card. Probably go to 4. I hope you can break those cards down and use them, but there's just no information here. And until we find out more, I can't really tell you how user-friendly this whole process is going to be. But I really hope you can make whatever deck you want to make relatively easily. But aside from that, that's basically all we got. Just a basic run-through of a couple of attacks from one side and the other. We saw Goku, Vegeta, and Broly, Vegito, and just a couple of other leaders in that deck build area. But aside from that, there's really nothing else to talk about. So going forward, what else do we need to know, and what else would be nice to have? Well, there's a few things we can go through. Let's have a look at them. First of all, cross-platform. Is it only on PC? Can you get it on PlayStation or Xbox? Can you get it on Switch? Can you get it on Android phones or iPhones? I don't know. All we know is that it's on PC for sure currently, but don't know about anything else. They need to touch up the user interface, obviously. They need to really touch that all up and make it looking a bit nicer. Obviously, on their pre-release, when you sign up for the beta, it tells you this is all just to basically test out the servers and all that. This isn't exactly what it's going to look like. It'll probably look a lot better when it comes out. I really do hope it looks better. But for the time being, it looks fine. They need constant updates. We need to get up to date in terms of like what the most recent release for the game is. This is the problem with things like Master Duel, is that the cards are a few sets behind the actual card game, and because of that, there's no competitive people stressing to use it. Especially since the ban list on that is different from this, which is another thing we can talk about. Is the ban list going to be different? This obviously is an easier way to approach the game, because with this game they can easily make erratas or bans or anything they like to this, much easier than the actual physical card game. Are there going to be tournaments? Rewards for the tournaments? Well, like I keep going back to Master Duel because it's the most recent example, but do you earn gems or something, some sort of currency from these tournaments in order to make the decks you actually want to make? What features are there socially? Can you make friends? Can you friend people and then play against those specific people? What about tutorials? This is something that's going to be very interesting because we already have a tutorial app, which I always thought, why don't they just take that app and just build off of it to make what they're making now? This seems a bit nicer than that, but the app's very restricted. Like, you can only play 4 battle cards in the app. They've only got a certain number of leaders, certain number of cards, but the thought process is the same. What about game modes? What do we have for that? What I would love to see, as an example, is some sort of story mode where you're allowed to go through characters from the Dragon Ball series one by one. Like, you fight a Raditz leader, then you fight a Nappa and Cyberman leader, and then a Vegeta leader, and then you just go through them one by one, unlocking certain cards and just having a fun solo mode. That would be great. What about physical cards? How will they be integrated into it in any way? Can you actually take your cards that you have in real life and apply them to the game in some way? Pokemon does this by having a code card in packs that you used to buy the packs in the game. There used to be old Yu-Gi-Oh games where you could take the little code at the bottom corner of the card and write it in, and it gave you the card in the game. Is there any way to apply that? Don't know. Aside from that, that's all for now. Hope you see you guys around later. I should be back with some more content, especially if this thing gets released. I'm going to be jumping on and having a good old time. Unfortunately, you can't play it in Australia currently.
Thank you for watching. Feel free to leave a like, subscribe, and ring the bell for more. If not, I'll destroy those Saiyan monkeys you love so much. Farewell, fools.